probably true, yeah.
Well, because
That is true.
because
You could be
XXY
XXY.
could present exactly the same as X.
But you can never be XYY.
No, it's not.
But is X? I can't remember. Is XY XY?
No. Yeah. Well, that's the same as XXY.
XXY.
Yeah. That's like Turner syndrome or something. Yeah. Okay, back to the matter at hand. What were you saying?
Oh, just establishing that none of us know about having that test. So I think it's a group full of men making some excellent decisions.
You guys, everyone was up to throw. I'm not.
I have reproduced.
There you go. There you go.
Here's another one on page 15.
Did we decide to leave this?
Yes.
Okay.
There's no problem. If people have a problem with more than.
If they have too many hormones, yes.
10 words.
If they have too many female hormones, yes.
David and what?
Lactate.
They can't reproduce.
I didn't say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if they're, yeah, especially they're taking some steroids.
Right.
You guys can. Anyway, page 15.
Ended up thinking about that.
I'm not gonna. My mind is not going to go there.
It's like I'm just trying to blame it all out.
Or LS1D. Really, 41%? Do we have to? Which one?
Do we want to look at it? I mean, just
LS1D.
LS1D. 4 LS1D.
There isn't one.
The one I don't have opened up.
Oh, I'm on third grade. I need to be on fourth grade.
Should we look at ESS 3A?
It's a bit vague. Now they're saying it's vague. Before you're saying it's too complicated. LS1D is a bit vague for a fourth grader.
There was a 40% one on page 14. Did we get it? Not
Construct an argument that plants and animals have inherent and external structure that function to support survival, growth, behavior, and plant reproduction.
They
wrong with that?
don't like the word. Which one are we on right now?
Are we on fourth grade?
Oh, that's all I said.
What page of the document?
we do-
Sorry, page 15 at the top.
Did someone?
Yeah.
bump
But
that
did we
to
look at
4?
ESS 3A, for ESS 3A? Because it had a 40%, and I'm just, we can skip over it, I'm just asking, and I may have been out of the loop.
We already
Page
talked about the
14.
natural hazard one, didn't we?
Yeah, it's
We
fine.
covered natural
Okay,
hazards.
all right, that's all I need to know. So we are at LS1D?
Why is the box orange on?
Yeah, why do we have an orange block?
I don't know.
Remember, I think I asked ESS 2B, plate tectonics.
I did that. Why did I do that?
I like to cover data from apps to track patterns of fruit.
LS2? Pretty good.
ES 2.
You're in second grade, so fourth grade. What do you
No,
think?
I'm in fourth grade.
Alright, so which one?
ESS 2B. So
Or
analyze and
ESS
interpret data from maps to describe patterns of Earth features.
Well, let's look at the one that everybody had, the one that 40% would have a problem with.
I know, but there's an orange box.
It's okay. We can
Why did you do that?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out, but it probably means it was red and you need to talk about it.
Okay, so read it. I don't see it.
Well, LS1D is actually red, so let's talk about that.
She's going to clarify what.
Use a model to describe that animals receive different types of information through their senses, process the information in their brains, and respond to information in different ways.
All right, and what's the problem with
You can
it?
say whatever you want to,
I don't know.
but I don't think there's any reason
Do you know what
to
the-
first. Absolutely.
Do you know what the notes are?
It's on that.
Do you know what the notes are for LS1D, fourth grade? Use a model to describe that animals receive different types of.
Is that another one we found that was wrong, guys?
Well, no,
It's
it's
a
wrong. It's
41%.
just when it's got a
Orange.
41%, almost 42%.
Okay.
That we looked at,
That
and
was
we
one.
have it as a red, but I don't remember why. I don't see the problem with it. So, and
People say that it is too in depth or not clear enough.
LS 40.
LS.
So if I pull up our, what was the old document called that we pulled?
Say it again?
it's
Remember
fourth
that
grade,
we
LS 1D.
So
Okay, Ann's edits.
It's
Yeah,
just
so-
a model
so
to
the-
describe the
so
animal,
the
you see different types of
current live
animals.
document should ask
Business.
about
It
is
says,
new
I'm not
Missouri
sure
performance
what
standards.
your available.
Right, but what's the one before that?
Cause issue, no, sorry, that's what
The
you're
last one,
specifically
so we've got
asking.
two others that we've worked on.
The standard's not narrow enough for clarity of
The last
instruction
one was an update
as
sorted
to
by.
what level at
And
which
then
this
the
is to
one before
demonstrate.
that was sorted by grade mix.
So it's gonna be at the front, Ann's updates sorted by, so 719 was that the last time, was that the last time we were here?
No.
719. When was the last time we were here?
August.
So where's that one? Did we use the 719 document for that one?
No,
Which one did we use for the
and
August
update.
meeting? I have that and it says,
Yes, that's just that I changed I made a copy of it today and changed, so that we would leave that alone. The new version that we're using is new Missouri performance standards.
okay, so this Ann's update sorted by
I'll say
grade,
more.
new standards to NGSS framework
That's the one
719.
we worked on last time.
Okay, that's what I need to look at to see what color it is in that one. And it's,
Well, the new Missouri performance standards, which is the document. we
You
worked
just
on
all
today.
say that the
It's
language is
exact-
vague.
Made a copy an hour ago.
Read it yourself, I don't know what
That
I mean,
one, right?
I don't understand why there's something like.
okay, so which one is that called again?
New Missouri performance standards.
New Missouri Performance Standards, got it. I'm opening it up. I'm
Okay,
gonna go to
there are
life
multiple
science.
people that say this language is difficult for them to understand, it's vague,
Okay, so
For which one?
for us.
LS 1D. But when you read it,
It is NGSS word.
Okay, I say.
Is
read
That doesn't
them.
make it not vague.
No,
I know, but
it's
if you
not.
read it,
Probably-
read
Oh,
it
we
yourself,
know
I don't
that.
see where it's vague, I don't understand.
I'm
the
just
problem.
telling you
Can
that
you read
Everybody
it?
calls
Okay.
it and thinks it's great, so.
Can you read it one more time?
No.
I can't. Use a model to describe that animals receive different types of information, is this it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Through their senses, process the information in their brains,
Simple.
and respond to the
They don't-
information
my
in
guess is
different
they don't know
ways.
what's meant by use them all.
Okay, so there's a supporting standard in there that is not,
Sure.
Why
that
is
should
this
be a
not
core
okay?
idea. too.
What did I do there?
Yeah, that's what I think. Do we have a supporting standard that we think would help these folks clarify?
No, that first one
We have a
should be,
DCI.
that first one should be over under core ideas though. Animals are able to use their,
There's a DCI there that says different sense receptors are specialized for particular kinds of information, which may be then processed by the animal's brain. Is it listed on the spreadsheet?
It's just-
I can't tell because the stupid
No,
document.
that needs to get moved over.
See,
Did
it's
you
spinning.
follow up on that?
Because that's what I mean, sometimes when they're saying they're vague, they may just be thinking that because they're not seeing
Oh,
the
I see
whole
what you're
document.
saying.
That's right.
How verbs.
I'm connected.
I really think we were best to keep our 50.
I think we were. I'm not sure I like this.
I don't even.
Because
Although
when
I
I
did have
looked at-
someone overall for fourth grade say that they thought it was way too much for fourth grade. I saw that actually 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
Just overall.
Well, when you
grade
look at wave
standards.
properties, then on page 16, that's next.
What am I looking at?
Well, we
Let's stick to this.
Let's go on.
You
The
know,
only thing
okay,
on this-
here's what's happening. When we started, I knew what I was doing. You told me the page, you told me the comments, I could look it up in NGSS, I could look it up on my document. I'm totally confused now.
That's what I'm saying. Let's just stick to this one thing we're doing right now.
I don't even know what one thing we're
The
doing right
LS,
now.
the one you just read.
I don't even know where it is. LS
You just
1,
read it.
2. I know, but I read it from here. I don't know
Oh.
where I'm at.
Okay, you're in fourth grade, life science.
Fourth grade.
7th row.
Okay,
I felt the same way a little bit ago, so I mean.
well, good.
Because but I'm kind of.
You're caught up now.
Okay, the problem that Jamie just noticed is in our supporting standards, one of those probably needs to get moved to core ideas because there's no verb. It just says animals are able to use their brain. That needs to move over to core
Yeah, that needs to
ideas.
go over to
Because
next.
it's not a.
And just one comment said, the standard is not narrow enough to allow for clarity of instruction as to the level at which this is to demonstrate.
That's it, probably. That
that
one
all
person
might
may
be
probably
solved
not
if
see.
they saw the supporting standard and core idea.
Could be.
Could it be solved by seeing more information?
I don't see how that one is even. I mean, I realize there's been 4 or 5 people said something about it. But I just don't know how you can make that any easier to understand.
concern is, do they know it's gonna use the model?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, and that's the
Well,
problem.
that
Do they
was
know
her-
I hope so,
that
because
it's a
we-
model?
And
that's-
then the company says they,
It came up and that's what I got.
Like, what would you say, what would you do? What would you do for this?
Should I exit out and go back?
Just really good protection information on either side. I mean, you could do all the different types of senses. You could do sight, sound,
Five
smell,
senses.
snakes, and
But what's a
you can-
model,
Let me try
like
to-
draw a
You
picture?
can draw a picture, you can
I mean-
do,
Okay, so maybe I'm
do
using
sound,
my
you have to do some sound wave activities.
So it's still loaded in there.
yeah, explain more in depth
I don't have
about
a
what
problem with
is
the word
meant by
model.
a model.
It's not how I would rewrite it, it's.
Yeah, cause
For
that,
the next gen
that
uses,
feedback
so if
keeps
we're
coming.
using that,
Yeah. But aren't we
Any
going
problem?
to address that from the get-go with our,
So my sense is, once you have the concept of
all
models
of the
planned,
supporting documents?
I think a lot of these type of questions go up.
No, but I agree.
Cause I don't know what else in here they could be confused about.
that's what I'm
And
saying,
some
I just don't
people
see the
say this is
problem.
too much for a fourth grade unit,
I'm not,
which may be, we gotta still kind of.
Well, and again, that can be a curriculum level thing. I mean, yes, we could move them as
I
well.
don't know how that's too much for a fourth grade unit. I mean, when you look at what we're doing in electricity in a fourth grade unit.
No, they're saying there's too
Overall.
many standards overall for
Oh.
fourth grade.
But there's not, there's only,
we counted it up.
When we
There's not.
counted it, it
Did we?
yeah,
was,
I mean, it's,
remember, you guys had that incorrect.
13?
Yeah.
nothing is,
I can't remember.
It's too many if you don't plan to actually do science instruction in still fourth
That is
grade.
true.
And it's too many if the
That is
curriculum
true.
isn't
then you gotta pick
integrated
up everything
somewhat.
from K1, 2, 3.
And it's too many if you try to do it
And
30
you're-
minutes every other
And
week.
you're a year out from an
Which is what
assessment
some
year.
are
But even at
Yeah.
13, I mean, you're talking,
Then it's too much.
Yeah.
13 weeks is one quarter,
Well,
one and a
and
half
if your
quarters.
district's limiting your science
Right.
instruction.
Then it's
So
too
once
much.
every 2
Right.
weeks.
Sure.
Or to a half hour a day
That's
or an
not
hour a
alright.
day.
Again, that's
Whatever.
whatever.
But it doesn't
decision
matter
they
how many
have.
standards we give them, that's gonna happen. I mean,
Yes.
they're gonna have
So
to.
13 is not
I
too
agree with
much.
that.
Here they are. Fourth grade has 18 and fifth grade has 18. So we jumped, third grade has 13.
But you're getting closer
I
to
think
the
you're
actual
against
state
assessment.
assessment.
Right, right.
So when we did our chart,
I
that's what we
think
did.
that's,
Okay, so what is our focus right now?
I think we have decided to leave that alone, right?
Yep,
That would
because
be-
we're gonna explain use, what's meant by use model.
Okay, so next is 4PS 4A wave properties on page 16, right? And what I found for that was sort of the same thing as the last one,
Okay, wait, you went too quick for me, I don't know what you said. You said 4 PS what?
4A,
4A.
bottom of page 16 is the, first, it's 42.7%.
Wave properties?
Yes.
And so there were some comments regarding the,
Yeah, develop a
Oh.
model of waves to describe the patterns that.
can you read it?
Develop a model of waves to describe patterns in terms of amplitude or wavelength, and that waves can cause objects to move. Boundary, the terms amplitude and wavelength should not be assessed.
Okay, this is a new concept for fourth graders compared to some other expectations. I don't think it's realistic to include, there just isn't enough time to get through all the material.
We have to include it, and it is brand new, and there is gonna be some angst, because waves have not been
Well,
covered
and
at
that's-
elementary.
But it is only introductory. I mean,
Well, and if we don't cover them, then they will not be ready for middle school.
And
So
that's what
we
I was
have to
getting
add it.
We have to have that so that you
Absolutely.
can make a connection when you get to middle school.
And they say, will electricity no longer be covered in fourth grade?
It's covered under energy, and we're not dictating how it's, remember, we had that whole conversation.
And then this, since two of the terms included in the expectation won't even be assessed, it seems incongruent that this expectation will be given to fourth grade.
We don't teach conceptually, AKA. Because you should be able to teach that conceptually without using the vocabulary words.
And even if you use the vocabulary there.
You're still teaching it conceptually,
You're
yeah.
not testing them
Right.
on
It's just an introduction.
in-depth knowledge of those words.
It's an experience, it's not a mastery.
Okay, so it just seems like some people are having a problem with unpacking that.
And you know what, that doesn't surprise me.
And that is
Well-
good in that they recognize
Exactly.
that. That impresses.
What I'm noticing is that what the work we've done, the past year or so that we've been working together is gonna be really hard to convert to worksheets.
Totally.
I mean, here, this person just says, right here, they just flat out say what we've been saying. Our current schedule of instruction emphasizes math and communication with arts with very limited time to teach science. Good luck getting this, well, yeah, we realize
Thank you,
that.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we know.
But that doesn't mean we're gonna lower the standards.
And then the next person again says, this is a new concept to us and do not understand where it would fit. There are too many. So basically, it seems like some people are
They
they're
just
going to
need to-
teach something new.
And they also probably, they haven't sat down and actually put a calendar on the thing, because they're just seeing it.
And see
It
how
looks
it's
like
like
a
a
low.
low.
And anything
I
that's
don't think
new
they're
is
scary.
Well,
And
but,
they're taking each one out of context when you can.
but there's
This
also
is the DCI that is
the
already included.
realistic concern that they have,
Sure.
that a lot of districts, come from one as well, have not prioritized science instruction. And so, if this document winds up getting adopted and
It's not our
actually
world.
assessed, by the state, then yeah, people are going to have to adjust in order to actually deliver science instruction.
And I do
We're
understand.
not supposed to weaken them.
No.
Which previous?
And I understand the people that are reading this and it's new content in their area. Not every district has a quality curriculum director like Julie, or even a great curriculum in place.
I mean, no, you're absolutely right.
And so
You
they
don't have
are
teachers doing their own
trying to
curriculum.
develop their own out of whatever
Especially in the
materials
lower
they have been
Rural
given.
districts.
And so that's a really scary thought.
Are rural districts, and they don't
I have no
the funds for
support,
that.
and I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
I'm scared. I mean, that's what's the first on the forefront of the
It's a
front
word
mind.
of God.
Exactly. And I think that. And I'm gonna say Colleen.
What?
We put an email next to every
Okay,
construction model
so
also.
the policy does not have wrapped text. It's not wrapping the text.
Yeah, I know that.
And line 44 is where that DCI is, so really that red box needs to go bye-bye.
Line 44?
Line 44 is
Where are you
where
at?
that DCI
What
is.
else are we talking about?
We're talking about a red box that was on what? Where's the red
47.
box? 47.
See, I don't getting it all on line 44.
Oh, because I had to scroll over.
Where's this
Physical
non-wrapping?
property.
You gotta scroll over a column to the DCIs.
Where's this non-wrapping?
47, oh,
I just usually don't have time. We have a bunch
do you
of
see
offers.
these? Those aren't.
Absolutely,
I don't
100%.
have anything in there at all.
Whenever we go
What
golfing.
else is it?
In 44, in column
Oh,
C.
44,047.
It's huge.
47 is the red box. It is a DCI. The red box says it's a DCI that's already included in a previous section, which would be line 44. So if it's a DCI, I don't see a reason for keeping it in the standards column because it's a supporting DCI for a different standard. So we should just eliminate the red box in line 47.
Okay.
I just knew something. was
Yeah,
just
we needed to, right. So that can just go bye-bye. Which I don't know if that takes away, like when we, I don't know if we counted the standards that were in here twice when I
So
counted
you
those.
just, is the recommendation just to delete
Yeah.
entirely the red box?
The red box, yeah, and make it not be red,
Just delete it?
yeah.
Because we're not really deleting the information, it's over here. It's just
Right.
It's just a
Yeah.
It's no longer,
Right. And we have two green boxes on this one, 34 and 39. And I would recommend, because it is transferred is in the standard, that we leave it under PS3B, because that's conservation of energy and energy transfer. So I would say get rid of the green
Wow,
box in
that's-
34 and leave it in 39. Would be my recommendation.
what's not in 30? 34 that's in 39.
It's the same one.
So they're exact same, or maybe some,
Yeah, they're exactly the same. So I'm saying get rid of it in 34, keep it in 39.
Do we have consensus on this, folks?
well, we need to move, if we do that, then we need to move the far column C's down.
I think they're already there.
I
Are
don't think
they?
there's anything there.
In column C? Ooh, there's not. Yeah, good
That's what I'm
catch.
saying.
It needs to be moved down.
So you move that down, and you're gonna move those down.
So 4 PS3, 4 PS3, 2. So the ones you need to move down are energy can be moved from place to place.
Right.
And energy is present whenever there are moving objects.
Do we need to move that B down as well, strand 1, where it's the next question, that comes, change the energy to the first.
B.
Strand 1, it's actually in column in row 35. It's like a symbol, it's all in there. Nothing part of it.
Looks like, the bottom for the down, the top one, the faster moving objects, moving more energy efficient, stays.
Stays. I'm asking about column B. Actually, I guess that would stay.
Yeah, the top one stays and the bottom ones go.
We're not just randomly continuing to change things, are we?
No,
We're getting rid of green.
We're
boxes.
saying,
green
when we
box.
find one in here, then and if we've got like green boxes, we're
Yeah,
addressing them
yeah, good.
as we go, so we don't. We're already in those sections talking.
Exactly.
So one says provide observational evidence and energy traffic, but the place, sound.
We're cleaning up.
Like your current thing says, like
Awesome.
observation provide evidence, it needs to be transferred from place to place by sound, like, which,
I would get rid of the one.
34 is the one we said remove
well, I
things
know
down.
we're getting rid of 34 and keep 39. I'm wondering, is the way it's worded, how it's different?
It's not. Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, it one says provide observational evidence, the other says make observations. To provide evidence, so it's basically the same thing.
Okay, hold on, I'll tell you which one it's not.
Right, that's all.
Yeah.
Make observations to provide evidence that energy can be transferred from
That's
place to place.
39.
All right, we're solid there, folks. Keep it moving.
Okay.
Okay, that was all that we had that was at 40 or more.
We're done.
30 or more. Do I hear
No.
30?
No,
No.
but now I would say that I just sort of skimmed the whole thing for when people had comments about the entire, because scattered throughout all these comments are a lot of comments
Yes.
about the overall.
Okay.
And what I gathered was there are several, I could go through and count, but several that thought that the grouping was not good. But I don't know if that's a curriculum thing and we don't care, or if
Grouping as in
they're too chopped up. Like
Okay.
why, I saw that numerous times. Why isn't one LS, whatever, with second grade, blah, 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 why are we covering this? That idea of things being scattered
Well, that would be
seems
their-
to be a repeated theme. So I don't know if we need to address that,
No,
but
because
I
that-
think, just based on my exposure to Anne during all of this, hearing and some of the teachers and administrators, that once you get down into developing curriculum and actually doing the units, that some of that will
they can do it themselves.
They should do it
kind of mush
themselves.
together and be taken care of.
Just because that was a comment that frequently came up and when addressing other things, that was a
Because
comment that
I could see
saw
just
very
based on looking at it myself, that when it looks very choppy and spread out, but I think when you go down in the development level in the curriculum, that will kind of work itself out.
And a lot of people thought that the wording was too much.
May I ask-
Even for teachers. But what are we supposed to do about that?
We keep saying
Educate.
that's a curriculum issue, but I think we have to be cognizant of the fact that not every district has an Ann or a Julie
Exactly.
to do this, and to expect a classroom teacher to do the curriculum thing that we keep referring to is way too much, and I think that
What if they're asking
population
for-
is
bigger than we think within the state to completely
We have a lot of
ignore
them.
that.
Isn't this
I
the
don't know
reason
if
that?
I don't know how.
Isn't this the
Just
reason that we
love it.
originally wanted to do the full-blown,
Yes.
model that, you know, kind of replicates the
Yes.
DSS, and now we kind of left
We haven't
that
had
behind?
time.
There's not time.
But I agree with
What we
that.
did, what we were tasked with was standards. And we have created the standards, we have updated the standards.
Do
And
we
now the
think-
next
Are we
thing,
gonna be allowed to go to the state board and speak with them?
yes,
Okay.
that's the.
Okay, here's my next thing,
Meeting on the
just
26th.
my thought on all this. Because obviously, a lot of people had concerns that these were either over their head, just to simplify what they're saying, or not clear and too broken apart. Do we think that with our support with the, being able to see our entire document that they didn't see, so we gotta give them credit for that, they didn't see the whole
Sure.
thing.
And we knew that going into it.
And with what we're gonna, you know, our introductions and our storylines and that kind of thing, the Bob's doing, do we think that's enough to satisfy them? What I think Liz is right, is gonna be a large number of folks saying, this is too much.
I think that we should, our document that we present to the state board should include recommendations for inclusion of storylines, DCIs, resources.
Because that seems to be overwhelmingly.
I do get what you're saying, I think the storyline.
Oh, I-
Definitely tell.
Okay. as
Oh,
long as
I
we
agree
feel-
completely
Because that
with
seems
that.
to be a major concern.
Here's,
when you-
here's what I think. Over their heads, yes, but it's a new way of teaching science and it has to happen.
Sure.
We, in order to be college and career ready, we have to get.
And a
this.
lot of them say the language is, you know,
Yeah.
they use different words for it. Then most of them go on to say, it might be okay of giving an explanation or an
Right,
example. So,
Well,
they're not
here's the deal,
saying.
when the science standards first came out,
Right.
I'm satisfied everyone was saying, well, this is, all new. I know when we got it, when I first started teaching back, 25 years ago, when I first time I got it, our district was handed the standards, and then we were told to group them as a grade level, and every grade level grouped them themselves and did their thing with them, and so I don't know what's different about this.
So I
It
feel-
is, and I just keep thinking about the school districts
Well,
that have one of you,
Well,
no
that's-
other third
I
grade teacher, and they
feel-
have to do it all. And I know we
And
can't
actually,
do
it's probably
that for
easier.
everyone, I
As
understand
long as
that.
they hit everything that's on there, I think that's actually easier on that person.
I feel really comfortable about the rigor level
I agree.
and the language. The part, I'm really proud of the product that we produced. If I could change anything about it, I would want to go back and clump by grade level, like what Beverly's saying. I would want to go back and see what do we have at third grade and what do we have at fourth grade, and could we move some fourth grade down to third grade that would make more sense in teachers teaching the concepts, and move some of the third grade stuff to fourth grade or
I
fourth
mean,
to
that's the
fifth
kind
and
of
fifth to
recommendations
fourth.
I saw.
So,
We did that.
we did not do that. We
We did
stopped
on some
short
things.
of that.
We did on
We did on
some.
some, but we have not gone through and done it.
With
Okay,
am I
so,
correct if I made it, with the idea that then, if, say, life science in third grade, they have a really deep understanding rather than hit.
so rather than
Okay,
spiraling,
that's
we're
what I
going
was
really deep in a concept and we're teaching all around it
Rather than
and getting
spiraling.
the full meat out of it.
And that's what a couple of people kind of.
Right, so the challenge that I have
Totally
selfishly,
different ways, I mean, you're really looking at two different ways to approach teaching. Spiraling or?
Yes.
So-
and research is showing, if we pull the framework out and we look at science research in education for the last several years, it says spiraling is not the best way to go. It's better to go deeper at like a K2 deep and a 3-5 deep with that same concept, is what I'm getting from the frameworks. That's from the research that's there. But when I think about selfishly, I think it's 11:36 on the last day that we want to meet. And to contemplate going back and double checking that is almost overwhelming.
It's not feasible. We can't do it. I really think that's the next step where this will go, is this will be assigned, and they will, more than likely, they will do that I don't think they're gonna probably go back and check see if it spirals or if it, I think they're probably gonna go back and check and see where everything fits, and see if we got where things really need to go.
Because we still haven't cross-referenced with math. I mean, you know.
So I guess, I don't know if we give that recommendation to the Board of Education, that we say, we're really proud of the rigor, we're really, we are very good with the standards. The only thing that we would do if we had more time is to double check that we're going to.
You need to say this to me.
Okay.
You're gonna be cleaning it up.
So what I'm wondering, the part that I'm concerned about is that we have conceptually put the same concepts at the same grade level. So I have a feeling if we went back and looked at this, there would be concepts at third grade that overlap with concepts at fourth grade, that if we flip-flopped a little bit, the teacher could do a really in-depth unit at fourth grade, teach a lot of meat around a concept, which would seem like you're taking some things off the plate because it's not as scattered across the grade level. But when I look at, it's 11:38 on the last day we want to meet, there's really no way that we're going to be able to get that done. So my question was, I don't know if we want to recommend to the Board of Education that we like the rigor of the standards. We are very comfortable with the language of the standards. If there's one thing that we could, if we had more time, we would do, it would be to balance that out.
And can I ask you, when you went to the board meeting last time, were you allowed to, were you given a moment to actually speak?
Mm-hmm.
So we could write this recommendation up, and then we could make that
Part of our.
verbal, make that part of our, you know.
Because
our-
I think another group could very easily take what we've done, like this next review group, could take what this done, and before the finished product is produced and we present it to the state, I would really like for a committee to go through and balance those concepts.
I agree, and I think it's safe to say that we're very happy with these components. Given more time,
Yes.
we would have looked at this additional component and made sure it was the best. So we're not comfortable at saying this is our best
Exactly.
work.
Right. How we want.
There's another stage that I
And
would
time
like
did
to
not
see it go
permit.
through, right?
And
But why would
could I
you
ask
want
you to
somebody
do-
else
Could I
to
ask you to
do it?
write that out, how you feel about that?
Why would you want somebody?
I don't mean like right this second,
Huh?
Why would you want somebody else to do that and not us? Well,
if we don't have the
Here's
physical
the only
time.
issue, here's the only issue with that. We already said to state,
We couldn't do it all.
we already said, we said to, for public comment already, what we believe to be our document.
Well, and I totally think that
Oh, that
these
can change.
standards,
That won't change
the
anything.
language
We
of
asked
these
about the
standards
standards.
are amazing. We
agree.
did a great job on
Yeah.
these standards.
We just
I'm
ran out of
very
time.
happy with them. If we had more time, I would
Another
take
year.
these standards and I would move, maybe rearrange them by grade level so that concepts can be taught deeper.
Here's
Well,
my-
maybe the board will allow it after.
They might, I don't know.
Here's my thing is that I would be willing to even, you know, I still feel very unsure about what is gonna happen to these. Like, there's no guarantee. The board has really very little involvement with this. They have,
Up till this point they have, but as soon as we hand it over, the board has
It's
100%
100%.
involvement.
but I think
They'll
they
be-
will delegate it
To staff.
off to, yes,
To who do you
Desi,
think?
Staff.
someone
You?
else. Yes.
Well, they don't,
I don't think so.
That's my
They will
hope
sit
that-
together in
I
another
think so.
committee.
I guarantee they'll have.
It
People
goes,
that they
it's
would cut
going
down
to,
state
look,
teachers
it's
and all
going
that
to
review.
the Joint Education Committee, which is
Now that's who I'm nervous about.
And see, that's what I'm saying is that it's
But the Joint
legislators
Education
that
Committee doesn't
are
have
in
final
charge of the
No,
Joint
no.
Education Committee.
State board,
Yeah, but the Joint Education Committee does not
has no
have
authority.
final authority.
They have no authority.
No, Missouri
That's
statute.
true, that's true,
But they'll probably take the recommendation
they
from that.
can, like, this could go through like 2 or 3 more avenues of people, and who knows what that group will look like, and like really whether we recommend spiraling or, I mean, that's another issue for me, like the 2 separate issues, what's gonna happen, who's gonna get it, we really don't have control at this point, we can give a recommendation, they're gonna, who knows what they're gonna do.
Well, I think if we don't give a recommendation though, then that falls
No,
on us.
we need to give a
Yeah.
recommendation, but I think having a conversation about what it's gonna look like is pretty pointless, cause
I agree.
we have
our
It's
document.
pointless at all. I think you gotta give your
We can have a written recommendation
No, I
in
think
as well in our final PDF document.
Whatever ideas
present
we
for-
have about,
The committee recommends the following.
Now, what were you saying, when are they, when's this happening?
October 1 is the day we turn.
October 1, we turn this all in October 1, and then the
Okay.
26th is the state board.
But
meeting.
this won't happen for.
like, they're only,
That's just what we
and
do.
then they're supposed to adopt actual standards
They'll already
by
have it.
March.
It'll just be kind of
The
a
March
formality.
meeting,
just
so
that
they
it's
have
gonna
November, December,
And then we can
February,
speak.
November, December, January, February, 4 months to take what we have and get it into something.
I agree, the timeline is not.
Well,
I don't think
no,
that's
no,
enough
they're gonna just read what we have and either accept it or not accept it in March, or whenever they decide to do it. But that doesn't mean
No,
they
it's
have it.
going through a committee before that.
Right, but what I'm saying is they're not gonna have it in a final format. They're not gonna have it in a final format at that time. No, because they told us 2018 is our first, is that right? Yeah, 2018 is our first testing.
The goal, if I understand correctly, is to have standards being presented to the public as in adopted in the final format, like May
March.
2016.
March.
Not in the final format out to the public, that's what and again, that, I've heard so many different scenarios.
No one knows. I mean, the reality
Oh, well,
is,
it's not.
it's all up in the air, and it's
Okay.
all,
It's all, yeah.
you know,
And if
futuristic
everyone-
planning. I mean, we don't know where, some groups may, when they turn these things in, they simply not have done the job.
You all realize more people quit at the state. That Michael
Yes.
Meeks quit.
Michael Meeks.
Yeah, John quit.
Oh,
Yes.
really?
Yes.
Who
Are
quit?
those representatives?
Janice Duncan
No,
just started,
Jesse,
didn't
they'll
they?
quit.
And then, who else, was it Nancy,
I must say, I were treated the way they've been treated over the last 2 or 3 years on public. Because you make a lot more money doing something else and people aren't able to do it.
My thing with the spiraling and what in depth and is, it's a little bit like, to me, and this might be a naive statement, but it's like eggs, like the research about eggs. You know, for a few years, eggs were bad for you. Now eggs are good for you. That really, there's
That's true.
positives to both.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's, you know, if we could somehow mesh the two together, that would be the perfect solution.
Mhm.
But, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Because we have everyday math, which is spiraling,
Mm-hmm.
and we adopted that, our districts used it for 8 or 10 years, and that was the thing at the
Mhm.
time, was spiraling. Research showed, this is the way to go. Now,
Research from textbook companies.
that's the thing, is that, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's how I see it.
And I'm okay if we
I
don't want to
wish-
make that recommendation as a committee.
Well,
I just
We
feel like,
wish there was a good compromise.
Why don't we
to me, the
also-
compromise would be to do the concept deep at K2.
Well, that's
Take
what
that
I'm saying.
same concept and do it deep
I
at
guess.
3.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna get it at middle school. To me, that's the best of both worlds. So we've got in-depth and we've got spiral. We're just not hitting the same thing every grade level or every other grade
Well,
level.
why don't we just say that?
I just have to question that they're gonna actually have time to do that. I mean, that's my thing, is I
And a
don't
part of
see
this
that
is-
they're gonna take the
yeah.
time to do that.
A part of this is me, because I know
Because this is your
that,
job, that's why we're listening.
This
to
is
you.
our, yeah.
part of this is me because I know that it would be better to clump them into units because that's the best way to teach, because we learn by making connections. And I don't feel like we have come up with a teacher-friendly document for districts that don't have curriculum help. So they can't sit down, pull this document out and start doing it.
But we do have some things to go with it.
We do. I'm not
We
saying
are
it's
slowly
bad, I'm
moving
just
in
saying
the
we
right
ran
direction.
out of
If
time.
you don't have a teacher who is motivated
Right.
to take the document and make it,
Right.
do it themselves, it's not gonna happen.
They're gonna come in and teach these singleton standards instead of putting it into units. So
Right.
like, as a district, I pull my
You're gonna be
teachers
against yourself.
in and I say, let's clump them.
Yes, because when we started this whole process a long time ago, you were the lead one saying that we needed to stay as far away from curricular issues and leave that to local control. But the problem is, if you leave that entirely to local control, you're also passing on the burden of
Right.
that work.
But
to
I,
local.
and you know, I have learned so much that is a testament to
You go talk to the whole
how
public.
much I've learned.
No, I think both positions are valid, but the
yeah.
difference is in my district, you can pass this burden on to my, and I've got a staff. that's
Exactly,
gonna
and I
handle
do
it.
too.
But
Well,
your
I
district
want to
doesn't.
be- Right.
But your district doesn't.
And
I
I
have
have
motivated
motivated
teachers.
teachers about the
Right.
small, they can't be motivated on
Right.
all five subjects.
Something's
Something's
gotta
gotta
give.
And I'm thinking, I could, cause
They
I
don't
got
have
job
the
I
time.
applied
Right.
for.
The first thing I would do is pull in my teachers,
All of
take all the
it.
K2 standards, cut them apart, and say clumpies into units.
You betcha
And that's,
it
and
can be
Just
the same
hand
calendar
me-
year. I mean, let's make this manageable, that's the
Right.
first thing you do.
Does
Get out
Desi,
that post. It's-
has Desi ever offered a model curriculum?
Yes.
service?
Yes, it's
Yes.
online right now.
Yes.
They're developed into units.
Did you look at it though? I tried to look at it. I
It's-
It depends on what unit you look at.
Yeah.
Not very good.
I've not,
They
honestly, I've not
jigsawed it
explored the
all.
science of it.
Here's my problem with this
I
whole
looked at it.
conversation. There's a whole sector of people in the public who are anti-Common Core, who don't want anybody to have anything similar or the same, and everybody to have their own, independence.
And then they're mad when they have to do
And
the
then they're
work.
mad
But
that they have to do it by themselves, and otherwise, you do want help, or you don't want help. You do
Well,
want everybody to say, or you don't want everybody
And
to
I
say.
don't
What
think
is
they
it?
understand what that entails when they
Right.
are handed the whole job to do themselves.
Right.
Okay.
I think what they really know is they want more and they need more. They don't
So
have.
But they don't wanna be told
They don't want, they
how to
want
do
to.
it.
Over the years, over the last 25 years, I've heard nothing but, why don't they just do this for us? Why are we
Exactly.
sitting and writing curriculum every day? Why isn't somebody just doing this for us? So in an effort to align and give the public and public teachers less stress, they tried to provide it to them, and the public went nuts. So that's how
Yeah,
I stand
no,
on that.
because I love the idea that my
It's
teachers,
stressful on teachers.
using, who are, if we implement Common Core as a state, then my teachers can look to their peers in 40 other states.
Yeah, exactly.
So that if
Exactly.
they were the only science teacher in their building,
Right.
they can still call any science teacher anywhere else in the country and get help.
Anywhere.
As opposed
Anywhere.
to if they're all, if everybody's working under different standards, then my teacher has no one to call
Yeah.
unless I'm gonna spend the money to have a central administration department,
Yeah.
The science department, which we can pull off. But the school district that I grew up in Howell County, that I attended in Howell County, doesn't have that.
Yeah, you still don't want somebody to go into the classroom and say, teach it this way.
Right.
It has nothing to do
Just
with.
it has nothing to do with how they teach it or how, it's minimums and menus. It's like, here's the skeleton and you populate the menu that you wanna
It's
do
just- it is-
based on your
It's
personality.
expensive for districts
It
as
is.
well. It's expensive to purchase online alignment tools, like build your own curriculum. It's expensive, what we have to do in districts to align curriculum.
We use Arco.
Okay, so here's my only
Lars is
thought, from
excellent.
listening to all of this and walking around, so what I think. What about adding to your statement that, we were discussing, that we feel like maybe our work isn't complete? That while we have these things in a grade level, we feel that they apply more to a grade span. Meaning, our K through 2 standards, while they are listed, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, could easily be grouped as K2. And similarly with our 3 through 5, while we have them, because we did do that.
Because we try to keep something familiar in that, that's how the glees are written currently, is broken down.
But these could just as easily.
And you know what I like about that?
I
Here's
love
what I
that.
like
as
about
K10,
that.
That
Three,
puts more
five.
local control.
The reason I like that is because as a state, there's so much power from the state when they say this is at 3rd grade. Teachers think I have to teach it at 3rd
It's
grade or
not
I'm
at
gonna get in
3rd
trouble.
You could teach
But
it
if we
in
set
exactly
grade
4th grade if you
span,
want.
then
Yes,
they would
it all
be forced
be-
to sit down and say, I'm taking this one, I'm taking this one, I'm taking this one, you take those,
Where are
you
we
take
gonna
those,
And
you
it
take
appears
those.
from the state that they're saying it's on, here you go.
It's up
We're
to
just
you
saying
where
that
you're gonna put this in
You
and when
can
you're gonna
choose
do
local
it.
control.
Okay, so here's what I'm saying. If a district chooses, they can keep these standards in the grades we have.
No, I say we don't even give them in the grades.
No, I think you still need to have, otherwise you'd have people.
Can I tell you the problem?
people that are
I have people who
ignoring.
I have people from other schools that come to observe them in school, and when they do, they talk to me about curriculum alignment a lot. And in some non-system districts that are non-PLC districts, they don't have any aligned curriculum, and they don't have conversations, even if there are two teachers teaching the same grade level. They're not even teaching the same curriculum.
See, that's.
And so, which is beyond our, we can't
I know,
wrap
I
our
can't
brain
even
around
comprehend
it.
that.
That's
That's
our larger districts, there's no such thing.
Yeah, their curriculum's the textbook that was purchased in 1995, but they still have their classroom in 2016.
So there's the problem, Ian, because
Okay.
a smaller district without a person to align curriculum and make sure there are systems, you know.
Checks and balances.
Checks and balances.
That you're
then
covering it.
You have no one saying, I taught this in this class, I taught that in that class. You have to give them.
So I don't know,
how
I'm
much
just trying to
grade.
hear what you
I
all
think it
are
doesn't matter
saying.
where they're at, but I also don't mind at all listing that it is a span.
Yeah,
And
that's
what I
fine.
mean.
give them the
The districts
flexibility
have the leeway
to move their, you know, we've given it to you
of
where it
putting these
belongs.
standards anywhere in
If
that
you all
space.
feel like you can best handle it, you've got, you know,
That sounds better
You got
than, oh, we
resources.
didn't have time to.
It does.
Yeah, because then it
I
sounds
agree.
like we didn't do our.
So
I
I
agree.
think we
I
add
think
that
it's
as a
saying,
recommendation.
yeah, that your district could implement it this way or
Or
this
this
way.
way.
It's all, it's, yeah, it's
Exactly.
empowering.
Wouldn't you
Choice.
just put
It
like
is empowering, I
a
agree.
disclaimer above it or something that says, the following are recommendations for grade level expectations, but the span of concepts from K through whatever will be assessed at whatever grade
Well,
level.
I say whatever format you put them in, I think you can put an umbrella, it would be very
I kind of
easy
think it needs to go in the same
But what if they
breadth
assess
as
different grade
your
levels,
other.
then they'll have to make sure they cover that span before it's
Well,
covered.
right,
but that, they'll have to test, basically what we're saying
Well,
is
here's
if
the
you're
deal, we
gonna
don't
test, it's
test.
gotta be after second grade, and it's gotta be after fifth, you know, it's gotta be.
Yeah.
If we're gonna add a test, then you need to add it at third grade because our span is K2.
right, and the
A recommended span is K2.
I mean, they can do what they want, but here's what we're
and new
recommending.
assessments are to be developed as a result of the newly adopted standards, so that's their problem.
Yeah.
Because haven't I heard whispers that that's one of the things they're thinking is including a science at third grade or not?
No, they used to do
No,
that.
we
They
did
talked
that.
about
There's
it.
no money, don't.
I wish they would, but no, that's
Oh,
not.
you have no idea.
So then basically, this is all moot, we can say what we want in there, but
There's not an assessment currently until fifth grade.
that's what I mean.
Right.
So if this is K2 and 3-5,
Exactly, exactly.
I mean, they can do, you know,
I just think in
K1,
smaller districts
2,
and
4.
non-aligned districts and people without a support person, it creates a nightmare for that little district to have to
but
figure out.
then they can
how to
still go back and say, okay, we
disaggregate
have
those.
these grades, we still have them in grades. So if
I
they
think
don't have
my-
that person, they still have a good product for third grade.
I think that's why you present it in both formats, just as I believe Beverly said earlier. and
Does that make
very
sense? I'm not a
Agreed
teacher,
with
but I'm just listening to you all and.
summarizing what all our comments are.
Well,
Well,
Ingrid
no,
is
she's
down
totally-
right.
it's totally- it's a
Presented
totally different
as,
scheme what we're talking about.
grade span
But it's
selection.
logical, and I think it would make it easier for people for districts to swallow, the smaller districts and anyone, say, look, you know, we don't have resources to do this at K.
That's right.
But we do have resources at 1, so we can pull this a little bit, lean it back towards 1 and do maybe something else in K.
Because
Well, and I
sometimes-
think it gives guidance also to the people that automatically are gonna take those grade levels and lump them anyway because they have a great curriculum team, and it gives them guidance to know where the end of that span is as well. So it's providing direction, yet it's giving freedom. It's kind of,
Okay.
Because
What do you think?
didn't we see that in some of these other standards, like wasn't it
Yes.
Massachusetts, Jamie, where it said things were listed by grade, but then it said this is in a K2 span? I can't remember, or was it Massachusetts
or
or
was West Virginia?
one of the ones we referenced, that's how theirs was. So it might have been coded
I read that.
ESS 1, whatever, but that whole umbrella was for the K2 span.
So this is for you to make pretty. The Elementary Science Standard Committee is satisfied with the language and rigor of the standards. Some standards could be moved to a different grade level to develop units of deeper instruction. Because of this, the recommendation of this committee is to view the standards by grade level or by grade span. This would allow districts to create units within the grade span.
That's beautiful.
Or would
That's
you
a
say and
perfect
or
line.
That's the same.
instead of
beautiful.
or?
She wants to say and
I'm just
or.
asking, I don't know.
And do we need to specify K2 and 3-5?
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
Okay. So you got.
I
those
trust
ones?
Julie will take
Okay.
care of it.
She
So
will,
then
she'll make it sound
That's
good.
what I
Someone
have
submitted
complete
to-
and total faith
I
in.
do, that, even
Okay.
Dan said sounded good.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And
I feel better now.
And it
I
made
feel
me
a lot
really-
better.
I feel a lot better
With
now.
that cover page stamp on on that document going in makes me feel
Cause I'm thinking
proud
about
to
right
have been
now.
part of this.
I mean, I'm thinking about
I was
salary.
proud before.
I mean, I'm thinking about my own district right now.
Well, you've got
These belong,
in each class.
I think someone's time to go home.
For each side.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
mean,
come
they
back
need
and punch
something,
it out.
they can just.
Right. Yes. I hope so, Melissa.
So what are our next steps?
Our next steps, I'm gonna take right here to that.
Various steps are to the back.
Well, we need
Oh.
to, so you guys are gonna finish, did we finish that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did we look at all the
We need to
greens
go
and
through
reds
and
and
make
all
sure
that?
there's
No,
no
that was
green,
something I
Yeah,
wanted.
that's what we need to do.
Reds, oranges.
So
Let's do it,
kindergarten,
let's do it 30 minutes.
kindergarten has a green one. Plan and conduct investigation to compare the effects of different strings or different directions of cushions and pulls. Types of interactions, that's where it should be.
Where you at?
I'm on kindergarten, physical science.
Okay.
There's a green one on 13 and a green one on
And do they say they're identical?
Mhm.
Which one does it best fit under?
I think it best fits under types of interactions. Plan and conduct an investigation to compare the effects of different strings or different directions of pushes and pulls. No, it goes under force and motion. I like
Okay,
it.
I move we put that under force and motion and we delete it from the other place.
I agree.
Force and motion sounds.
All in favor?
Thumbs up.
Okay?
So that should be, that's all of them in physical, all of them in,
It's wonderful.
that's all of them for kindergarten. First grade.
Are we making one final span down through everything?
Yes.
I think
so
that's
our-
really that's what we're gonna do.
Reds
Yes,
and
yes,
greens
yes,
and-
yes.
That's exactly.
Yes. Bob's gonna be on in 15 minutes.
Well, we ain't gonna be here.
I know, I'm so excited.
First grade's done.
Hey, Bob, sorry we're gone.
I like how we didn't give very many comments for second grade.
I know.
I was really excited.
I know.
Because we had the Queen second grade teacher here.
Of course. It's all.
Oh, take the credit when you can.
That or the second teacher just does so apathetic.
Second has none.
Yeah,
We're on
good.
Third has none.
Third has
I'm
none.
on fourth.
I'll check that.
Fourth has one.
Fourth has something,
Fourth has
the
one.
10th line is orange.
Yeah, I
Yes.
had no idea.
Analyze and interpret data from maps to describe Earth.
Okay, so if I go back to that, it was orange in, which one is it?
Fourth grade, ESS2B.
ESS.
2D. That's a plate tectonic one. Analyze and interpret data from maps to describe patterns of Earth's features.
Yeah.
I think it's orange.
It is orange.
Yeah, I gotta turn my.
Why were we arguing about this?
I don't know.
Oh, I remember why we were arguing about this. I'm not gonna argue again, I'm going to the bathroom.
No, you have to explain.
Well, it was about the surface of plate tectonics or teaching plate tectonics at elementary level.
Which we are not doing.
But,
We're not
this
doing
is
that.
where, the wording of this is not
Let's
that.
please not get into this.
No, not if you take it at the surface, you guys were taking it way deeper. That's what I was arguing about.
Okay, well, don't let Bob Skype in and take the orange off that.
Analyze and interpret data from maps to describe patterns of Earth's.
We're like this.
You know,
Our audio is not working.
We didn't want to talk about plate tectonics, but that's not what this is even. I think when we originally talked about that, was part of the problem that I still don't understand. It's not talking about plate tectonics. Other than the standard above is plate tectonic and large scale system interactions. We didn't make the heading. The heading was already.
I don't see how that was a problem. Unless,
Yeah, I'm with you.
I thought when I saw that maybe we had a problem.
Remember, I do remember the day that the stress ensued though, because I remember Ann saying, I can't do this anymore, we're just making it red more. Because there was a big discussion over plate tectonics, and I think we should just leave it alone.
And I think that, weren't we also discussing if that is where that belongs?
We'll leave it there.
Because there's not really anything else. We don't have a key to where the orange box is.
Means clear more
It means
tigers.
confusion.
Not Panthers, baby.
Did you get my subliminal messages?
Move on.
Yeah. Mark it white and move on. Why is it still orange?
Someone just colored outside the line and just, oh, get over it.
Okay, we're good now, right?
Yes.
Is that it for fourth grade?
No.
Oh,
Addition,
Are you gonna fix that one while we're on it?
he did already.
life science.
There's also another one on row 16.
On what? Physical science or?
Earth science, row 16.
Natural resources?
Maybe it's not on the other
I'm just looking
document.
You're not on fourth grade. What grade are you on?
She's on fifth grade.
I'm on fourth grade.
No?
But I didn't make it orange when I transferred it, so we probably already solved it, so good job. Okay.
All right.
Where are we at now?
Fourth grade life science.
I'm good, thank you. We're at on life science.
All the way to the top. Two red.
That's what
I
we
have
just
no
No, we
idea
already
what
did
it is.
this.
We just dealt with this.
Wonder why.
But we never changed the colors on that.
We did? We
These
dealt
ones
with
we just
it?
talked about.
Those were the ones that were at the
Those are the ones that were in front of this.
40%.
Got it, okay, good.
Yeah.
So we've already got these.
Okay, so
All right,
now
I mean,
we're
fourth is clear.
good, we're on fifth,
Yep.
good.
I'm so excited about this, guys. We did an awesome job.
Yep.
It's gonna be rock star.
Well, everybody's still gonna complain.
Well, yeah, because that's what they do,
Well,
okay?
Not really, because we had
They don't have
762
They don't have a lot to
people, and
complain
we had
about.
only 3. The majority didn't.
I wonder how many of the secondary folks had comment.
I have no idea, but I am so tickled to fish. Think about how many standards we wrote.
That's a lot.
That is amazing.
Fifth grade's
And to
clear.
have that many.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm
And not only-
On-
not only that they
On
respond.
the individual fifth grade document, yes.
But not on the other one?
On the other document.
Yes.
what are the documents, Chris?
So I feel pretty confident about it.
The master document.
Where's it at on the other document?
But
In
then it's out
fifth
of our
grade,
hands.
we've got red boxes on
After it's out of our hands,
6
it's out of our
and
hands.
26.
We can't
On
front
which?
626.
This on
Physical.
page, that page.
Physical?
626 and 65 all have red.
6.
Eric, what document are you on, sir?
The big master document.
Now, is that
has
and
earth
update
science,
sorted or what? is it?
Numo performance
Numo
standards.
performance standards.
He copied that.
Okay.
6, which was the other
I
one?
don't see that. 6, 26, and I think
Is this
80,
yours?
and then 65
Belongs here.
all have red boxes.
Okay, I'm
So
not
did
seeing
these
that
already
document.
pass the review?
I think this could just be, hasn't been updated, but I didn't want to just.
So let's look and see, so this is the red box up here.
Eric, can you share what you're doing right now? Because I don't see that.
Numo performance standards,
I see that.
not the individual grade documents.
Right.
The one document that has the 3 tabs, that has all of the grades, everything in
Now,
there.
that's
I
not
don't
the one
see it.
that,
So, I mean,
that's not the
physical
one that I
science,
compiled from all of them.
Look at share
Oh, wait.
with me documents.
Yeah, that's what I was in. I didn't go down, I was down below.
yes, I'm in physical science.
Physical science.
And
What
this
row?
row 6 has a red box.
Says 2 physical
Right,
properties,
and then
second.
26
yeah, first.
and 65.
That red box isn't on the new one, so I say we unread it and don't worry about it.
Driving through a restaurant this year, Steve did.
I don't see it
Subway
anywhere
is out.
in our new documents. Let me see if it's in the strand. I don't see
No,
it.
I think this is something that we put a note in here to make sure we did. I think we already did it. It
Okay.
just didn't update it, but I just didn't want to make that unilaterally in case I was
So it's
mistaken.
just gonna go white.
Yes.
Number 6.
All right, that takes us down to 26.
26, identify the forces acting on a load and use pretty scale to measure the weight.
We already have it in there, it's a supporting standard, let's make it white.
So it's white.
Yep. What
Takes us
else?
to 65.
The expression
Expression
produced energy typically refers to the conversion. That's 4th grade.
Right. Fourth grade.
So I gotta pull back up my 4th grade.
That sounds more like a DCI than,
Yeah, it really does, supporting.
should I just be
Let me see real quick.
drawn all together or what?
What's the header number on it?
PS3D.
My computer's trying to think about opening it up.
Energy and chemical processes of everyday life. We don't have anything listed under that.
For fourth grade?
The PS, oh, well,
Is there a supporting one?
no, I don't see anything there at all.
You wanna call it? Or do you want me to look?
I don't see it, is the problem.
I don't have my tabs yet.
We can look.
Acuity, and then we
I
have
mean, look here and see what I'm.
across, we use ESGI for kindergarten. ESGI is
Where's it at?
amazing.
Yeah, go back to the
software
other document. The NEMO.
that allows you to individually test
And
every
it
child
is
throughout the year.
PS3.
For, like, you can pick
D,
letters.
so go back over to PS3.
On the other
PS4.
side,
That one.
ESCI.
So PS4D, scroll down further, that's 3D.
It's a
4D
4D.
was
No,
it?
this is for the mid-year
Oh.
readiness test.
Then it's not.
See, the PS3, it's right there.
Yeah.
PS3D
Yes, that's what we use for
is
everything
that
all year long.
strand. but it's
We
not
didn't put it in there, so we must have decided not to put it in there. So make it white, and
It's
we're done.
unbelievable.
What's next?
Make it white and done.
Are we done?
No.
Okay,
We're using our.
That takes us to life science.
okay.
We've got a bunch of unresolved stuff in life science. First, we've got Brandon's line 7 and 8.
It just says third and fourth.
Right, we were trying to decide which grade level to put it in, so make it white, because we're leaving it where it is.
All right, we've got purple at 23.
23 was a DCI, purple means it was a DCI.
Right.
So it should have been included, so it's LS1C, and it's 5th grade, so LS1C, it should be a DCI. Is it in the,
Plants
who
required.
provides animals? So look at, the 5th grade, line 13, that needs to be moved over to the DCI.
It says, yeah, it says, but there's no, this is the DCI.
Yep, so it needs to be copied and pasted, or cut and pasted over to the DCI column, and then we can get rid of it and make the purple go away.
All right, so we've gotten rid of it here. That's 5th grade, LS1C. 5th grade LS1C, it has been pasted.
And if you need that, I'm so just, I have to.
I take this, there's a little gap next,
Yeah, we're not worried about that.
so just deleting gaps.
Yes,
Yeah,
and then if we go to 29, we already talked about that, because it was 40-something%, and we kept it, so make it, keep it yellow and get rid of the red.
Blue,
What was blue?
line 38.
Yeah, what did blue use?
I have no idea.
We should have made it key.
That would be smart.
Okay,
Yeah, we
so
can do that
5th
later.
grade, what's the upper line?
Plants are the primary source of materials.
LS2A, 5th grade.
Interdependent relationships and ecosystems.
LS2A,
That's predicting possible effects of food.
And is it on here? Is that what's on there? Plants are the primary source, so that's gonna be a DCI, because it
It
has
is
no
DCI.
verb, is it on there?
Plants are primary source.
Yep, take away the blue, we're good.
It's DCI.
Okay, we got another, get rid of the
Get rid of the
gap.
gap. Several kindergarten gap. things got to go.
Yeah, those poor babies. We're
Maybe
gonna
it's
walk.
just beta gap. Then we got a big one down on 100.
A lot of baby gaps.
About the marital solution problem causes brain change. Oh, that's the one we worked out with.
Yep, it's done, we fixed it.
That's the one we, yeah.
That's another
But
one
wait,
we're
we gotta,
gonna possibly.
we gotta
flip.
change it here.
No, make everything white. We were talking about flipping it from.
We
seven-
added words to it.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Yeah, so we
Make a
add
claim
those words
about
here.
the merit of a,
We just need to go back to
what was it?
third grade.
For the third grade.
Yeah, LS
We just need to
40,
bring
third
that
grade.
over here and put it in this one.
Right, and then unyellow it.
I know, but it's so out of.
Oh, keep it yellow,
No,
I'm sorry.
You want to keep it yellow.
Sorry. I'm trying to get
You're
rid of all
jumping,
color.
you're jumping too quick on colors.
I'm ready for the
She's
color to go
scribbling
away.
all over.
How many more little boxes are there,
A
guys?
kabillion?
Come on.
Yeah.
Just a color.
Not a kabillion.
A kabillion.
This is way past 11.
It is.
I have to go home, then I have to go to Prince's after I go
Why?
back to his place for that meeting tomorrow.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You get to ride a roller coaster now. Probably.
Fire roll.
You get to eat a cinnamon roll.
I do?
No,
Yeah,
that's
they're gonna have
succotash.
cinnamon rolls. That's what they said.
That's not a salad.
It's not. She can get a salad for lunch.
folks, that's all she wrote.
Cha-ching.
Okay,
Okay, so now I need to ask,
let's talk about the calendar and what dates and all that. You want this-
26th is the state board meeting,
October 26th.
yeah, October 26th.
It's due on October 1.
You know, it has to be turned in by October 21, so you and I
By
talk
October
about.
1.
Yeah, October 1. Has to be tuned in by that date. So we need it the week before to finish up.
Okay, I can tell you that I can't do anything until
If they get it by
the
midnight on
22nd or
October
23rd.
1st.
22nd or 23rd. Next week, I'll do it next week.
You know, I've already talked anyway. I just want to know, I want to know everyone's, how they want us to present this.
Right.
I'm assuming that everyone's fine with, we're gonna,
Intelligently.
we're gonna try that
Well,
first.
We want you to
If
present.
that doesn't work, then we'll try something else.
Can we all just show up as as participants? Anyone can come.
Anyone can come, if you want a
Just
seat, then I need to know that you're gonna be there for sure. And I'll send that to Malia,
That's
and she'll
October
get everybody
26th.
that wants a seat.
What is the date? I know we have a
Monday.
date. What are the time? I
That I
apologize.
don't know, I'm sorry.
They'll be in on morning.
You told me last
I
time.
know, I just
It
don't know
may
off
be,
the top of my
I
head.
bet it's posted on Destiny, I'm sure.
I want a seat.
I
I
want
do
to see it
too.
too, and I would rather have
Yeah.
a seat and then
Let's just write-
unfortunately not make it.
Just email me that you're gonna come, and I'll
Okay.
wait to send it, when I send this in,
Okay.
I'll send Malia the list of everyone that's coming.
Okay, can I give you a recommended format?
That's what I'm gonna ask right now. Everybody cool with, we're gonna publish it out in the grade levels, and then we're also gonna publish out the
Yes.
full document,
Yes?
and then we're gonna publish out Bob's storylines,
Yes?
and actually have that kind of as a separate document, but going right with this,
With the PDF?
with all of the PDF, so
Yeah.
everyone, they can pull it out, thumb drive it, send them one, and then
You can
one hard
actually
copy.
email it.
I'm gonna do it
Both.
multiple ways, so that
Yeah.
there's no way, it can be a problem.
Right, right.
Because I think that they want
That's not what
something like this, they want it where they can actually physically make the copies and do it, and then obviously we'll have it electronically as well.
Right.
We need the survey with it.
It's certain-
We'll have the survey, we'll have
Definitely
the table of
survey.
contents, we'll have a letter of recommendation with it, we'll have it, on the, it'll look like, oh my gosh, did Kinko's, you pay for this?
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
And then any other suggestions other than that?
Tell us your email address. Yeah,
PDUNKESON
yeah. Oh, wait a second.
at KNOBNOSTER dot K12 dot MO dot US.
Or hit reply to something he said to make sure it's
All
right.
right.
And
You've emailed me before, so you got it. You probably should.
It didn't even pop up. I haven't.
Try to type 3 like PDUNK.
I already sent it.
Will you send out an electronic copy just
To
to the
everybody
committee members?
listed,
I
yes,
thank
ma'am.
you very much.
Once,
I don't need hard copies. I
actually,
just-
it'll probably come from,
Is there anyone that I'll never see again?
I don't know if we'll
I'm
ever.
gonna see you at least in Rollins, Springfield, at all those curriculum meetings, if you send me the
Can you
day.
come to my, I can come to my.
I
Yes.
see people in Springfield.
Yeah.
I will give you a holler.
If anybody else sees me, nobody.
I'll see you at the meeting, the 26th of
Oh,
October.
yeah, I wanna come.
Y'all are ever on Kern or Black River, look for me, I'll be the loudest one on the river.
That makes me very
Just
happy.
listen for my laugh.
It's very distinct, and I love it.
So this is in the day, so I would need to get a day off.
Now, is there any other things in the
Would
letter of
I said, I bet
recommendation
you'd
you
have to have
want us
a
to
day
add?
from the
We'll talk about it.
No, but I mean, it's in during the daytime. It's
Yes.
not like.
No,
It is during the
It's,
day.
it's like it,
It seems like it was later in the day.
you know, I was gonna call Maria now.
Just gonna do a letter of
Yeah,
recommendations.
let us stay together to finish the work after I come back.
I know, I Give us that would be so wonderful if we could mention that, we would be willing.
Replace the legislature with us.
There we
Or
go.
even that we would be willing to revisit any of our work at their request. That we would be willing to as a group, to revisit our work at their request if
I would
needed.
love it.
Yeah.
That
We serve
Get the
in
band back
additional
together again.
capacity to make sure the process is complete.
Exactly.
Well, it is at lunch, so I can't cover.
Okay, well,
I'm trying to pull it up, which is slow. It will be posted on,
I kinda think I might have a personal cell phone break. I'm gonna try this.
Bob, you're out of class. Come on.
Why is he not calling us?
I know, I'll call him.
He must think he needs to eat lunch.
He can't see us anyway, I'm gonna leave it
I
on this.
remember a Missouri senator saying that you shouldn't pay for school lunches because underchildren are incentivized to learn.
What research is he basing that on?
That would be her, but nobody.
Her.
We have free rides.
What research is she basing that on?
We have
Because the
free
last
rides for
research I
families.
read said that
Yeah.
basic needs need to be met before learning can occur.
well, 70%.
Nobody here remembers Senator Cunningham?
Who? Senator who? I know Cunningham, why do you say that?
No, that's a she.
She.
I
Oh.
thought you were talking about
Was it his
Senator
widow?
Cunningham, the son with her.
No, Senator, she.
Oh, no, that was
She,
Carnahan.
Senator.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Are you talking about Carnahan?
No, Cunningham.
Oh, I don't know that one. I know Mike Cunningham.
He has
is
some
in it.
interesting theory.
Well, we do have free
No,
breakfast, they have free lunch. Oh,
Hey, this is great.
Just as an aside,
Well,
yesterday in our
question.
middle of high
October
school,
26th.
we had an
What
offer
time
that did presentations with our students. We did two totally different ones, one for the whole middle school, one for the whole high school. His name's Ben
One?
Michelson. You're not familiar.
we are, but I can't see you. Where you go?
Hang
on, I'm trying to find you.
So it's the back to lunch or something.
There it is. Can you see us?
No!
You can't see us.
I don't know what's going on, because I promise you.
And he's a children's author, spirit, like, you know, just isn't.
That'd be.
I did answer with video.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I'm so.
And
But I don't know why it doesn't like me.
workshop.
Yes, yes, it's not a laptop, it's an iPad.
Just good people. I like it.
I do. What they tell you.
Oh, she doesn't know
Someone,
100%.
I need somebody to give a
Do we
synopsis
shut
to
this down
Bob.
now?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Bob! Someone needs to give a synopsis to Bob.
We did it.
Bob!